Hey traders, John Howell here. Today we're going to be going through just a bit of an update across the markets right now, what's happening across obviously the AI sector and stuff like that. I also want to share with you one really simple setup that I use and that I trade in the market that's really powerful. I'm going to teach you that setup as well too. Plus also I want to share with you a quote that Ray Dalio actually has in his book. The New World Order, and I want to share with you about what the big picture is telling us about when it comes to gold and silver and stuff like that. So, and plus, we're probably going to go through a whole bunch of other down-home country goodness in this video. So, let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So, this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, let's get straight into today's session. Traders, I have 2 spots left open for my private coaching program that I've got open, and then I'm closing it down. If you're interested in that, that's the second link in the description. Go click on that, guys. When you click on that, you can you'll go straight to the application form. As soon as you fill out the application form, you're also going to get access to my Master Trader course for free as well too. And so I look forward to speaking to you. I'll be personally calling you to see if you're a good fit and answer any questions you have as well too about the actual coaching program. So second link in the description there, guys. Go click on that and fill out the application form. I look forward to speaking to you soon. So let's get into this video here. The big thing that we've been watching for with these markets, right? And this is something that we also understand about about markets, right? It's like when we start to get into like bubble territory, and that's what the Nasdaq is in, right? The Nasdaq, especially a lot of the tech stocks right now, a lot of the Nasdaq and the actual tech stocks. When you start to get into bubble territory, it really can stretch a lot further than you think, right? Because as you know, it was back here. Which we're actually not that far off right now, but it was back here where I actually started saying we're probably going to get a pullback. And I've always been saying that I don't know exactly when, but we're going to get that pullback, right? And this is where, like, I've always been talking about, like, you know, that 0 to 100, right? So whenever we get moves ups and down, right? Get a move up, get a move down, get a move up, get a move down, right? Whenever we do get moves ups and moves downs and so on and so forth, it really does. I'm always analyzing it of how much it is, because we all do know the foundations of markets, how they work, is even if we do get a really big, long, extended move up, right? We eventually get to a point we eventually get to a point where we do get either, and if it does go up really quickly, either a big pullback like that, or a nice pullback like that, or at least sideways movement for a long time. Makes sense. So you either get 1, 2, or 3 in the markets there. Now, whenever we do get very, very stretched in the markets, we do know this is coming, right? So this is the reason why when you're trading, it's very dangerous and very risky to be trading something when the move has already happened, right? When we've already started to make a big move up. Because yes, we could still get a little bit more to the upside, and this is what I've been trying to warn people who follow me on YouTube. I've been warning about the markets and about how they've been really overextending right now. And again, this thing can go on a lot longer, but it's very dangerous to be trying to go long, especially the AI stocks right now. Very, very, very dangerous. And it's probably not a good idea, only because we're getting towards the end and we don't know when, but when it does turn, it's going to turn fast. And that's something that when I'm looking at the markets, I'm always analyzing where are we right now. And that's for me personally, when I share with you the trading opportunities or the trades that I do, you'll be able to see that I always like to get in as it's just starting that next move. Make sense? And so looking at the AI stocks and looking at that, we can see that where we are right now, we're actually starting to get a little bit of a pullback, and we actually can see that it actually ran up to this level of resistance, and as you can see, it actually got up and poked its head back down. But this AI bubble, when it does burst, we're going to start to get some really big down moves, and we're already starting to see that with a lot of the tech stocks, right? So if I zoom in on this here, let me take everything off the screen here for a minute, and I bring on, say, Tesla, right? Look at Tesla. Tesla's already starting to come down. Now, The dangerous thing about trying to go long a euphoria market, which is starting to get into bubble territory, is, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this. What do you think is going to happen to the AI? Do you think the AI stocks are going to continue up, or do you think we're going to actually get a big crash here? There's a massive probability we're going to get a big pullback, right? A big pullback. Pullback is now, when I say pullback, guys, if the overall trend is up, right? It's these bits here. It's just a pullback is where it's going against the trend. We're going against the trend, right? So you actually can see here, like things like Tesla, right? Is like we have a big move up, and the problem trying to go long a stock, a market that's already made a big move, is when it does turn, we within 1 to 2 weeks we can retrace a couple of months worth of upward movement, right? Look at this here. 1-2 days of downward move has already retraced. How many days is that, right? When it comes to Tesla here, right? It's already retraced 11 bars, right? 16 days or 11 actual trading days, right? So this is what can happen when the market starts to turn. And this is why I've been really putting warning signs out there in the marketplace to say, listen, we need to be really, it's best to try to stay away from the AI stocks right now, because it's like, you know when people say, be careful, be careful, be careful. Like, no, it's not be careful. It's like stay away from these stocks that are already bubbled right now. Wait for a good pullback, or if you do want to trade something, go to something that hasn't had a big move yet. You know what I mean? Like the natural ability, or the natural thing about what most people do, and the reason why trading is so hard, especially initially because you don't understand the game, is that most people have this herd mentality, right? And so this herd mentality is that I'm going to wait for everyone else to go in, and then when I see everyone else is doing it, then I'm going to jump in. But if you do that with the markets, right, you're always going to be what? You're always going to be on the wrong side of the foot, aren't you? And that's where, like, as you know, when is the best time to get into the markets? When is the best time to get into any investment, right? When's the best time to buy a property? When we're going through a property crash. When's the best time to go through to buy stocks? When we go through a stock crash, right? It's a reverse psychology against the way that we've actually been programmed to think, right? Because like, oh, everyone's doing it, that means it must be right. And so then when we do that, we actually end up that's where majority of the people have this herd mentality. They don't understand how these markets work. That's where most traders actually get wiped out with these markets. And I've been here for 19 years myself. My first 5 years, I lost $250,000, and a lot of that was actually borrowed money. And so I'm trying to tell you guys that, listen, I went through heartaches, and I've come out the other end, and now I actually understand it a bit more. And so what these last couple of weeks now, I've been trying to give warning signs about these markets. This is the reason why, is because we can start to get down. Even like Netflix, right? Look at Netflix. Literally 1-2 days of Netflix already has retraced how many days? It's actually retraced, same thing, 16 days, right? It's actually retraced 16 days. So this is the dangerous thing about trying to go long these AI stocks right now, these massive bubble stocks right now, because literally within 1 week, we can literally retrace a whole month's worth of upward movement. And so that's why I've always had these. That's always how I've never gotten the exact top right, because no one knows when the exact top. But we all do know that these AI stocks are getting towards the end. This AI bubble may have just come to an end, and we're starting to see the burst right now in the market. And so that's what I'm seeing through there when it comes to the actual Nasdaq itself. And there's a lot of different stocks out there that are still so really high, right? That we may have just seen the final last hooray in the markets here, like Microsoft, right? If you see Microsoft's still very, 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 very high. We've had this one last little push, and we could be starting to see this thing come down, right? Adobe as well too. Adobe's still up high through here, but really, but other stocks, like for example Meta, like look at Meta, right? Meta has had two big down days. We've had this one last little push here. We're going to see this deep pullback in the markets, guys, and this is where, like, we just understand. Remember I said before about the movements, right? When we start to get movements like this, When's the top? When's the exact high? We don't know. But the problem with that is that we don't know when the exact high going to be, but when we see something like this and we're trying to go long here and long here and long here, like if we're trying to go long here, yeah, you may be right, and then guess what happens? Literally maybe within 1 week, it retraces all the way down. So you spent a month going up and 4 days going down, and now you're in a loss again. And then that does this on you because this on you. Have you guys watched UFC? Adesanya, Adesanya. You know when he anyway. So it just came to my mind just then. So that's what we're looking at through there, guys. And this is the reason why we never want to be trying to go long. We never want to try to go long bubble stocks, right? And again, the herd mentality in us is something that I had to learn by going through the markets. Is I had to learn so much of not being involved with stocks that they're getting high, that are literally getting very, very high, right? So that's like we see like, Meta and even like Nvidia, right? We're starting to see Nvidia starting to turn around as well too. And so as you can see, like things like Nvidia, if you actually went long Nvidia here, because you're like, oh my goodness, here we go. And there were so many call options done with Nvidia, right? There was like all these call options and everything in Nvidia. And then the market rallies up. You're like, here we go. We're going to go again. And then it starts to retrace. And we could get 1-2 more bars like that. And before you know it, it's spent a month going up. And then now, maybe 1 week, and now you retrace that. 2 weeks later, it's actually come back down here to close the gap. And that's how fast things can turn around when we're looking at the markets, right? So we really want to be doing this. And again, with my private clients, guys, again, that second link description there, you can click on that. I've got 2 spots left open. I actually tell you exactly what to look for in a high quality setup. I give you step-by-step details, workbook manuals. I even I have a $10,000 scanner that helps me scan. You get that as well too. I'm there every single day trading with you, so you can actually see exactly what I'm doing, what sort of trades I'm taking as well too, and so on and so forth. So if you're interested in that, guys, again, that second link in the description, click on that. And I'll personally call you. It's not a support team. I'll personally call you and talk to you on the phone. So that's the reason why we're having a bit of an issue here when it comes to this here. And that first link in the description there, guys, that's actually the free trading course that I'm giving away. It's about 4 or 5 hours long in total. And I think it's section number 3 that goes into a lot of this sort of technique of when's the right time to get into this thing and understanding the markets when it comes to markets extended and then market going sideways. What does it all mean? So on and so forth. So I promise you're going to really love that when it comes to that in that free course that I'm giving away. So that's what I wanted to share with you when it comes to that there. So one thing that I want to share with you when it comes to the external, again, that's the AI stocks through there. So obviously we've got the Nasdaq gone through here. If we have a look at the S&P 500, the S&P 500 right now, we do actually have a bit of resistance, or we do actually have a bit of resistance up through here as well too, where we are right now. So this is the major level of resistance. So S&P 500 major level of resistance, SP 500 major resistance, Nasdaq AI could be coming to an end. This could turn fast, and so we're there right now. So we could actually start to see this thing actually pull back. Now remember, guys, we're expecting the pullback to happen, right? Or again, guys, remember I said before, what is a pullback? A pullback is when we have a strong upward trend up, and then it drops a little bit, and then we go again, and then it drops a little bit. When I say a little bit, maybe 10% or so, but it's still an overall big bull market, right? I'm still expecting all-time new highs to come by the end of this year. But right now, where we are, we're probably going to get a little bit of a pullback, 5 to 10% pullback out of this before we get going again. And this is where it's really, really hard, right? Because a lot of people are trying to like get involved with things right now. So it's going to be interesting to see whether this 4,600 level is indeed going to hold before we start to get that pullback overall, or that at least a nice little pullback in the markets, or a nice little drop in the markets before we get going again. So that's what I'm seeing there when it comes to the actual stock market itself and stuff like that. If we go have a look at, I want to share this with you here, right? So this here is an insert from Ray Dalio's, Ray Dalio's. Actually, no, I think this is actually from his big debt crisis, right? His big debt crisis. I think stage number 6. Maybe this is based on the long-term cycle that he has. And so check this out here. This is he said stage number 6, which I think we're in stage number 6 now, right? Well, actually no, we're in stage number 5.5, 5.5, right? We're almost at stage number 6. Stage number 6 is then there's a flight back into hard money. When taken too far, the overprinting of fiat currency leads to the selling of debt assets and early described bank run dynamics, which ultimately reduces the value of money and credit, which prompts people to flee out of both the currency and the debt. History teaches us that people typically turn to gold, silver, and stocks that maintain their real value, and currencies and assets in other countries not having these problems. Some people think that there has to be an alternative reserve currency to go for this flight to happen, but that's not true, as the same dynamic of the breakdown of the monetary system and running to other assets happens in this happened in cases. So we can see here that as we continue along, one thing that most people there's the silent sort of asset right now is gold, right? Gold, silver, and those sort of stocks. So as you can see here, right, that when this whole long-term debt cycle comes to an end, there's going to be a massive rush to gold. And this is where I think gold is going to be such an incredible asset to hold. I think especially when it comes to, say, on the other side of 2025, because I truly believe after the next recession, we're going to get a massive printing of money, and that's going to cause a reflation. And it's going to be, to me, it's going to be the commodity prices that are just going to go absolutely nuts from 2025 onwards. So if you think we've had if you think we've had big inflation in the last couple of years, you haven't seen nothing yet. You wait to see what's going to happen on, say, 25, 26 and onwards through to the rest of the end of this decade. Now, that's not to scare you. That's just to prepare you, because then we can position ourselves to benefit from that. And how we do that is we do that from a perspective of position ourselves in it, right? So for me personally, I'm in gold, silver. I'm in some of the mining sector. Oh no, I'm in the mining sector because I truly believe that that sector there is going to be doing really well. I just think there's a couple more years left before that sector really gets going. So that's just sort of my opinion from there, from that there. So leave a comment below and let me know what you think, because there's definitely a run to a digital dollar right now. We all know that that's coming. We all know that's where we're going to head. We're going into, right? It's all happening behind the scenes. We just don't talk about it much more, back there through there. So, but a digital dollar, it hasn't got any real value behind it, right? So we're through history, as you can see here, that when we go from basically fake money, right, the one we're using right now, what happens is we then turn to we go from fake money to then real money, right? We have some sort of value backing our currency again, and we're going to go do that. And so, if it is going to be a digital dollar, like a cryptocurrency, and no, it's not going to be Bitcoin. I truly believe that we're going to have some value behind our money again, right? Because there's been no value behind our money because they can print it, right? We're going to go back before 1971, right? When we did actually have real value backing the currency that we're actually using. I truly believe that. And that's the reason why you see countries right now really picking up a lot of gold in their arsenal. So leave a comment below, guys. Let me know what you think about when it comes to the gold and where we're going to head, because I do know over the next probably 10 years or so, as we get into the end of the printing of money. And again, guys, this whole thing about what the government's doing right now, the printing of money and running up big deficits and coming to an end and all that sort of stuff. This has happened so many times in history, right? If you just read Ray Dalio stuff, the New World Order or the Changing World Order, you'll see that this is happening again and again and again. Nothing is new. What is happening right now, right? And so this is where one of the big mistakes that I was always making when looking at the markets, and if I actually bring up the markets here, right, one of the biggest mistakes that I was always making when viewing the markets, and probably some of you guys know what I'm talking about here, is I was always taught to look at the last couple of months, right? So I might let me bring on some moving averages here. Bam, 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 bam. Let me bring on some maybe volume as well too, right? So I was always taught, and let me just take all the trend lines off the screen here for a minute. When I first started learning how to trade, I was always taught to look at the last couple of months for the data, right? So I'd always zoom in very, very close to see what the bars were doing here. And so while that's important, when it comes to that, and this is what ties into like seeing the forest from the tree, so to speak, right? About history repeating itself. About this ties into and this ties into everything about the small picture, big picture, small picture, big picture. The small picture when it comes to this hard money when it comes to this here, what's the small picture? The small picture is about what's happening right now. Right, that's the small picture. The big picture is, okay, what are the big cycles that has happened in the past that's probably going to happen again? Do you know what I'm saying there? And so when we go small picture, big picture, small picture, big picture, that's probably one of the biggest things that I learned from my earliest mentor. And so the big picture is that these cycles are happening time and time and time again, and we can pretty much see what's going to happen again, right? What's going to happen again? There's going to be another inflationary spike. There's going to be price controls again, and all that sort of stuff. Like you can go down that rabbit hole again, okay? And that's the same for trading, right? Like I was always, my only trading was only looking at the small picture, right? I was just looking at this point through here, maybe so 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 months worth of. Let's actually go 3 months here. Is that going to bring up? Let's go daily chart. Okay, cool. All right, so that's the only way that I was only looking at the markets here, but I was missing such a big piece of what was really happening in the markets, right? Because I'm looking at the small picture, but I'm not seeing the big picture. And the big picture for me was really, and again, if I take everything off the screen here now, right, take all the moving averages off, and if I start to look at the big picture, which might be, say, 1 year worth of data, or even a couple of years worth of data, I can now start to see the forest from the trees. I'm like, we're actually at a significant major resistance level now from the big picture. That's the reason why maybe we've paused there and we're about to start to see a turnaround, right? And so just understanding that big picture analysis, but then also when I'm looking at the big picture, I can actually see the major swings properly. So I can see what's really happening from the forest from the trees, right? Yeah, we can zoom in, right? Yeah, we can zoom in right now. And let's actually do this, right? We can zoom in. We go, oh look, there's a bit of a gap there. There's a nice big up candle there, and there's a doji there, and then we've got a down candle here. Oh, we're probably going to go down. This stuff like that, right? But one of the biggest things for me in my trading, what's really helped me, is really understanding the big picture too, and that's where I like go into the next time frame up. So if I'm looking at the daily charts, if I look at the weekly charts, it just gives me a much, much more detailed, better perspective about what's really going on. So if I use this exact same analysis and I look at gold, this is where, like, if I look at gold right now, we can clearly see that the forest from the trees, the big picture on gold is what? We've got down, we've got a big drop. Now, this is a drop here. This is a weekly chart, right? So this is probably a month or so of a move down, right? But what was it? It was just a pullback, right? And then we have a move up, and then we have a move down again. So what is this through here, right? Now we can see, okay, cool. The forest, even though we've had probably a couple of months worth of downward movement, we're probably likely to get something like that right now, and gold and silver starting to kick back in. Makes sense? So that's what we're seeing through there when it comes to, when it comes to all of that. Now, what I want to do is just to finish off today with today's video is I just want to share with you one really simple, powerful setup, guys, that really just, it does work when it comes to trading in these markets, okay? Not investing, but more like a trading opportunity through here. So let me just bring this up through here, okay? I just want to share this one setup here to really help you. If you're looking for good quality setups, then this is just one setup that I know that I'm always looking for, because when they do come up here, when they come up, it's quite amazing what happens here, okay? So the setup is this here, all right? So this is the setup here. To the left is obviously where the entry bar was, right? And then to the right is obviously what happened afterwards. Now again, guys, this is trading. Trading is, there's a big differences, right? Very big differences. If I'm trading, I'm getting in and I'm getting out within a couple of days. Sometimes I'm holding for a couple of weeks or more, right? That's trading for you. That's how you trade the markets. Investing is what? Investing is buying and holding for many years to come, okay? So it's important for us to not mix them up as we continue along our journey, right? So what I mean by that is that we don't want to be looking at a big fundamental news like, oh my goodness, inflation is so bad, and then we go trade the markets for 2 days. It's like, there's a big, massive disconnect there. Makes sense? So when looking at this market here, or this here, the setup is this, all right? The setup is this. So what I like to do is, as you can see, see this moving average? This is a 52 moving average, okay? See how it's actually nicely trending to the upside? Nicely trending to the upside, right? Just a nice trend to the upside. So this is obviously where the moving average is trending up. So therefore, that tells me what? That tells me that if the moving average is overall trending up, not what's happening here, but the overall trend is what? It's up, right? So if the overall trend is up through here, and we're getting that, then it tells me that the trend is up overall. Make sense? So we're looking for the overall trend to be up, and then I'm looking for a channel. See how we've actually got like a bit of a channel through here? Right? It's a very simple but powerful pattern. See how we've got the channel? So the overall trend is up, so we've probably got a nice little move coming up from here to here, and then we've got this sideways move from here to here, okay? So we've got the channel. Then I'm looking for a breakout of the channel to create what? A higher high. Then it comes back down, test this whole resistance level through here as support, and then gives you a breakout bar through there, and we enter on the close or right into the close of this bar here. So this could be a 1 minute chart, this could be a 5 minute chart, this could be the Indian market, this could be the Forex market, this could be, right? All the markets are the same. There's obviously, you see this here, it's like, oh, obviously this doesn't work for the Indian market, right? It's like, the same humans and the same machines are trading, that they all make the same patterns, right? It's just the same. It's like, this is a Forex trading system. What a lot of crap, right? It's like they all operate really the same way. So when it comes to that, this is a very powerful setup. And as you can see, it had a very nice move up for a couple of days to give you a good what I call a short-term trading opportunity, right? And again, this could be a couple of days if this is a daily chart. If you're using options, this could have given you a 50 to say 100% return in a couple of days from there, right? So again, guys, this is not about what I'm teaching you here right now is trading opportunities and trading what I look for in the markets that gives me a good success rate. So I'm looking for channels and then support, and then obviously a good breakaway bar from there to really move it up from there. And obviously the same thing, guys, to flip upside down as well too, right? So if you just flip this whole thing upside down, that's what I'm looking for the bearish side as well too. So there we go, guys. The nutshell of this video here is that one of the hardest things about trading the markets that I've had to overcome is the ability to not get sucked in by the herd mentality, right? Because we all have this need to fit in. Okay, so when we do that, we wait for things to do well, and then we get in, and then we say, oh, the market burnt me. It's like, yeah, the market didn't burn you. You know, you didn't get burnt by the market, you burnt by yourself, right? Because you probably got in, you know, the market went up 20% and then you got in. It's like, well, no wonder. Of course, the market's going to have a bit of a pullback. And just understanding the foundations of how all markets work. And then we can start to maneuver and weave into these things as well too. So, and then obviously we looked at this setup here, and then obviously we also talked about why probably that long-term investing, guys, is probably going to be gold, silver, and some of those sort of stocks and mining stocks and so on and so forth are probably going to be really, really, really solid over the next say 5 to say 7 years from now through the end of the year, especially after 2025, because I really see that we're about to see some really big moves in the markets there.